This is THV 11 News at 6.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Brooke Buckner, here with Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon.
Good evening.
Good evening. You brought a weather impact alert with you.
I did, actually. It was actually Simone that brought forth the weather impact alert over the weekend. I'm just carrying it over from the weekend, and we'll carry it through Wednesday.
Okay, it's going to be really wet, possibly severe?
Yeah, you've got the combination of strong to severe thunderstorms and the potential for heavy rainfall. Oh, just when I thought he was moving out, we have a spider making a nest or making a web on our camera outside right over where you would see the sunset tonight. One of you gentlemen have a windshield wiper you can knock him off with there? Yeah, high atop the Simmons Bake building downtown. We've seen some clouds come back into play. Now later on tonight, early tomorrow, there is a lunar eclipse. I promise I will share that information in just a few minutes. But first, let's get your current numbers. There is a stationary front in Arkansas. North of the front, the air is cool and stable. 46 Mountain Home, 75 Texarkana, Little Rock right now at 69 degrees. As we head through time, hour by hour, we're going to drop off into the 50s. We'll bottom out here. We'll have some cloud cover tomorrow morning, maybe even a little bit of fog for your ride into work. 79 tomorrow afternoon. Scattered storms, some could be severe. That's why we have the weather impact alert on Wednesday evening, March the 4th, primarily for the western half of the state. Strong to severe storms and even a marginal flood risk. I've got the latest timing and how much rain we could get coming up in a few minutes. Brooke?
Tom, thank you. Tomorrow is Election Day here in Arkansas. In the state's largest county, more than 236,000 voters are registered. THV 11's Journey Taylor spoke with the Pulaski County Clerk about what you need to know before heading to the polls.
With more than 236,400 registered voters in Pulaski County, turnout is already outpacing the 2022 midterms. So far, 32,332 voters, about 13%, have cast the ballots in the primary election. Another 3,683 voters, 17%, have voted in the special general election for House District 70.
Voting is your superpower.
Circuit and County Clerk Terry Hollingsworth says she still wants to see more super voters.
Currently, we are doing about 13% as it relates to folks who've already early voted. And so that is higher than what we did in the last midterm election, which was in 2022. But I will tell you, I'm still disappointed because we still need to have more super voters to come out and make sure that they have their votes cast and their voices heard.
Hollingsworth believes the slight increase from 10% comes from more people who want change.
It's what's happening nationally. There are a lot of voters who are certainly not happy with the way things are going. And so this is a way to make sure that their voice is heard and to make sure that they cast ballots for folks who they know will get in there and help things out that are happening nationally.
On Election Day, polls will open from 7:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. You can still vote if you are in line by 7:30 p.m. Hollingsworth encourages voters to arrive prepared with a plan, a sample ballot if needed, and most importantly, a valid ID. Everyone must vote at their assigned precinct. To find your location or download a sample ballot, visit Voter View page on the Arkansas Secretary of State website. Now, if you plan to vote in the Republican primary, there is an important rule to remember. Only registered Republicans or those listed as optional can receive a Republican ballot. Democratic voters cannot receive a Republican ballot. With misinformation circulating online, Hollingsworth urges voters to rely on trusted sources like her office, the Pulaski County Election Commission, and the Arkansas Secretary of State office. In Little Rock, I'm Journey Taylor, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Journey. Over in the River Valley, voters in District 26 are getting ready to decide who will succeed the late state Senator Gary Stubblefield, who died last year. Republican nominee Brad Simon and Independent Adam Watson are the two candidates on the ballot. Both oppose the proposed Franklin County prison site, saying it not only lacks the infrastructure for a prison, but would also create a number of challenges.
It's certainly not the place that is well suited for this kind of massive, large-scale industrial project.
It's going to put a major strain on our water supply. A 3,000-bed prison in this area, I'm afraid, will be very difficult to staff.
Both candidates say they will address infrastructure, rural health care, and criminal justice challenges if elected. Early voting is now over, but Secretary of State Cole Jester says he thinks it may have been the highest turnout ever for the primary elections. We're going to take a closer look at those numbers tonight at 10. And tonight on 6:30 Central, we're previewing the top races across the state, including a look ahead to major races voters will decide on this November, like governor and representatives in Congress. So make sure to join us. Again, that's tonight at 6:30 Central. Tonight, we're continuing to monitor Operation Epic Fury. It started early Saturday morning after the U.S. and Israel carried out strikes in Iran. At a Pentagon briefing today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the first U.S. casualties, and officials say there could be more. So far, at least 555 people in Iran and 11 in Israel have been killed. President Trump's GOP allies on Capitol Hill have praised the strikes, while some Democrats have blasted the administration for not consulting Congress. And Arkansas voters are about to have their say at the ballot box. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky shows us how the fight overseas is reshaping the fight for Congress here at home as challengers line up to unseat Republican Congressman French Hill.
Over the weekend, U.S. and allied strikes inside Iran sparked national debate, bringing foreign policy to the forefront of the race for Congress in Arkansas's District 2.
Shock like everyone else.
Candidates vying for the District 2 congressional seat are weighing in. Chris Jones, spouse of a combat veteran, says he knows what it's like to sit on the edge of his seat, wondering if he'll get a knock at the door. He says what happened this weekend was handled the wrong way, that Congress never signed off on these attacks like they're supposed to, and if elected, he'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
We need to make certain that we are doing everything we can to protect the lives of our troops that are in harm's way and the families that are back here at home.
Jones also worries this will make the cost of living even more unaffordable than it already is.
We're seeing additional wars that they promised that they would not get us into, and we're seeing the cost of living go up as opposed to going down.
Another candidate, Chase McDowell, says with Iran falling, he worries what this means for Russia and China and believes U.S. troops should not be on the front line.
What I want to see is, first of all, no boots on the ground. I think our military is extreme. I think that we can handle these situations without putting our service members in harm. I'm very upset to find out that 5 of my service members have been killed over the weekend. It bothers me. That should not have happened.
McDowell adds he does not support regimes like Iran's leadership known for decades of mistreating its people, and he hopes the Iranian people can come out on top.
That we can find either a monarchy or a type of a republic or a democracy that will win out, but the people of Iran have to do this.
Zach Huffman, also running for the congressional seat, calls the events in Iran highly alarming and says 2 things can be true at once. We can empathize with the people living under suppression and desire to assist them in acquiring their freedom. We can also question our own government's authority, strategy, and methods to pursue this outcome. Incumbent Congressman French Hill says for years he's condemned the brutality of the Iranian regime. He also sponsored and co-sponsored bills supporting resolutions that call for change in Iran. He said in a statement, "I pray for our service members as they carry out these operations for our allies in the region and for the Iranian people. May this be the dawn of a new day for the Iranian people and a step toward lasting peace in the Middle East." In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Tanya, thank you. The House and Senate are scheduled to go get an all-members briefing tomorrow. Iranians around the world and here at home are also reacting to the reported death of Iran's supreme leader. Ihsan Samani is an Iranian immigrant who has been in Northwest Arkansas for about 7 years. He's calling this weekend's attack the biggest news of the century in Iran and is now hoping for a regime change, as is Nina Maziar, an Iranian-born public policy PhD student at the University of Arkansas.
Removing this regime from Iran not only is the best thing for Iranian people, but also essential for the whole world security.
Democracy, in my eyes, is a procedure, and overthrowing this regime and normalizing Iran was the first step to take.
As Iranians in Arkansas celebrate, others are gathering for and against the military action around the country. The strikes could have an effect on our gas prices, as oil prices were up more than 8% today and natural gas futures spiked 42%. At least 20% of the world's oil supply travels through the waterway off the Iranian coast. Industry experts say higher crude oil prices could trickle down and impact gas prices for drivers in the U.S. within a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, families in Britain are being asked whether social media should be banned for kids under 16. Lawmakers have launched a public consultation as they consider following Australia's lead. Alternatives being discussed include an overnight curfew on social networks and restricting access to AI chatbots. But some parents feel it's too late to ask for input. Ruth Moss's daughter, Sophie, died by suicide 12 years ago after viewing harmful material.
I think the difference then was we didn't have all the academic research that shows that social media is damaging for young minds, but we do now. So now is the time to act, in my view.
Australia says nearly 5 million accounts were shut down when it cut social media for children under 16 in December. But some evidence shows children simply turned to other platforms like Roblox and Discord, which were not included in the ban. It comes as multiple legal cases are currently underway here in the U.S. that allege social media platforms are designed to be addictive and harmful to minors. Studies show teens average between 5.5 and 8.5 hours a day staring at their screens. After the break, a look at some local headlines, including the brand new animal shelter that's more than 12 years in the making in Benton.
Sharing this with you now, Nathan will have more on it at 6:30. Lunar eclipse tonight, full lunar eclipse. It gets underway at 2:44 a.m. in the morning and ends at 6:38. Weather permitting, let's hope the clouds stay away. I think they will for some. After the break, we'll talk about our weather impact alert.